All right, there's this viral video going around where this firefighter lost his life with a little skirmish that happened outside of a convenience store. I wanted to cover it. We got to admit, first of all, that we don't have all the information. We will have all the information though when the videotape comes out. I'm sure that there's outside surveillance tape or surveillance equipment at this convenience store, this Liquorland market right here. I'm sure there's surveillance camera. That right there, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that right there looks to be behind that light. It looks like it's a surveillance camera. It looks like it would be pointed in the appropriate direction. So all that we know right now is what they're reporting on the news, and let's take a look at it.
Off-duty firefighter when he was here inside of Liquorland at 40 Highway in Sterling and Independence. That was about 2 Thursdays ago. Witnesses tell us that a man inside of the Liquorland was insulting a woman there, and Santee stood up for her, and then a fist fight started.
Let it go! Let it go! Stop!
Now, I'm going to be real careful about how much of this video that I play, but in this little section right here, you can already see that she has a handgun in her hand. Looks like it's in her left hand, and there looks like an extended magazine right there. That's not your typical magazine that probably came with that gun, so there's probably, 30 rounds in the magazine or whatever. But there's another clip where they show that she actually gets the gun in her hand. I'm gonna play that real quick, because it looks to me like, and this is just first blush, taking a look at it, it looks to me like this guy, Javon Taylor. It looks to me like Javon Taylor had the firearm in his hand and kind of passed it off to her. Let's take a look at it.
Let it go! Let it go!
Okay, did you see the pass off? I'm going to show you the handoff real quick. I can't pause this because it looks like it's on Instagram. Let's look at it. Okay, so see, it's in his hand right here as he's being, basically dominated by this fireman. So it looks like it was in his hand. It gets transferred to her, and that's how she gets the firearm. Now it's completely in both of her hands. So when they resume the video, she already has the firearm in her hand, it looks like.
Started.
Okay, there's the pass off right there. There, it's in his hand. I guess I just missed it at the very beginning. It's in his hand. It's about to be in her hands, plural. Okay, so now it's in her hands. Clearly she has the firearm in her hand. All right. What we know so far is the fireman was inside the convenience store while this Javon Taylor was also in there. He got into a verbal dispute with the female clerk there. The firefighter did not like this and started to get involved in this little confrontation, ushered this guy, Javon, outside the convenience market. He went to the car where his wife and 2 children are, and he gets a firearm. So that is a deadly escalation. That is the escalation to end all escalations. You're gonna bring a firearm to a fist fight. You already aim. You might as well put it in your mind, if you're the one who's going to be approached by somebody with a gun. Okay, this guy wants to end my life. So I give a point to the firefighter on that point right there, because somebody's aggressing against him with the threat of deadly force. Even if it was a toy gun where the guy was trying to use it to intimidate the firefighter, how would the firefighter know if it was a real gun or a fake gun? So that does, anybody who would make that argument, that wipes that away. Are you really going to wait to see if that's a toy gun, or are you going to treat it as a real gun and try to preserve your life? Especially if you're close range and you can do something about trying to get that gun out of that person's hands. So as far as I know, this firefighter, when he's got him on the ground, didn't see the transfer of the handgun from the male to the female.
Let it go! Let it go! Stop!
Cell phone video captured some of that fight between 41-year-old Anthony Santee and 23-year-old
So she's got it in her hand right there, clearly.
Javon Taylor.
Now she looks over at him, but I don't think she can see the gun. Look, he's looking straight at her, purse dangling from her shoulder. Looks like the gun's on her left-hand side. Looks like it's hidden from the view of the firefighter.
Witnesses tell
Still looking at her.
AMBC
She's still high. It looks like the gun is still obscured and hidden from his sight.
the fight may have lasted as
She's got it holding it down in her left hand, pointed at the ground.
long as 10 minutes.
Get out! My kid's in this car! Stop! You killing him!
Javon Taylor's girlfriend pulled out a gun.
It does look like, I mean, this lady probably doesn't know what the heck is going on. All she knows is she was in the car with her kids. Husband or boyfriend goes into the convenience store to get something. Apparently the argument was over whether they had certain kind of cigars or not or whatever. This confrontation happens with the firefighter. He goes out, he goes to get the gun. I don't know if she saw him actually get the gun and go back, but if she did, that would be pretty alarming. It's like, wait, what are you doing with a gun? Let's get the frick out of here. Look, now she points it at this guy.
Ultimately killed Anthony Santee.
So she kills the firefighter. If this video ends up on YouTube, I'm not showing any of this stuff. I'm not showing any of it. But he's got him in a chokehold. Chokeholds can kill people. Not only does he have him in a chokehold, he's got him in a chokehold with, extending his neck back. That's not a good situation to be in. So according to the reports, the girlfriend or wife freaked out, wanted to save her husband or boyfriend, and wanted to eliminate the threat, and she hasn't been charged. It says prosecutor's office declines charges in shooting death of KCMO firefighter citing self-defense. So basically, they determined already that the woman was defending her husband/boyfriend.
Now, this afternoon, Jackson County Prosecutor's Office made an announcement. I'm going to read directly from it. We grieve with the family and community over this tragic loss of life of Mr. Santee. Missouri law governs this case, specifically self-defense and defense of others, leading us to decline charges after a careful review. Anthony Santee, as I mentioned, was a firefighter. He lived in the Northland. He had a daughter, and he was buried last week. Live in Independence, Rebecca Gannon, KMBC 9 News.
No matter how you look at it, that is freaking sad. Unacceptable. Somebody wrote in the chat room, if that was a black man that she killed, she would be in jail. I don't know. We know how people like to expand and accentuate racial things. And yes, this was a white guy on the back of a black guy. It does make you wonder, or does it? Because there's been so many stories. It does make you wonder if the roles were reversed. If the woman carrying the gun was white, if the guy who was on the white guy's back was black and it was a black man who died. It makes you wonder what narrative would be spun, how mainstream media, specifically corporate media, not these local media stations like this KMBC News 9, but what would this is an affiliate station, what would nationwide press, how would they spin that? Would the Reverend Al Sharpton and Ben Crump get involved in this case? Would they appear on CNN, on Nightline, on late night TV and talk about how there's all this racial division and there's all this white supremacy going on? I don't know. Is that what would happen? Bad situation all around. The reason I'm bringing this to you is because I want to see what you guys have to say. Was this lady justified in shooting the firefighter? If you were the firefighter, would you have gotten involved in this situation? I want to see the video evidence of exactly what happened. How long did this fight take place? Who started the fight? At what point did the guy go get the gun? When he did go get the gun, was he pointing at the firefighter and was he endangering himself? Or was he endangering the firefighter? Was he endangering others? Did the fight start inside the convenience store? Who started it? Who was the aggressor? I'm sure there's video camera evidence. Like I said, if you look at this first frame of this lady talking right here, let's see if we can get another a view of the store. I'll play with this long-term lawyer said about the self-defense. But let's look here. See this light right here? See this? I don't know if it's an LED light or whatever, but you have this little black thing coming out. Usually those little black things are security cameras, protected, weatherized security cameras. It'd be interesting to see if this security camera was activated and if it was pointed in the appropriate direction. That would be some evidence I'd be looking for if I was on the investigative team. I'd be like, hey, we need to see the footage that you guys recorded at this time frame right here so we can find out exactly what happened. Let's listen to what this lawyer said.
Obtained by Fox 4 shows off-duty Kansas City firefighter Tony Santee and a man identified as Javon Taylor fighting outside an Independence gas station, and a woman standing over them shouting with a gun. It's likely one of the key pieces of evidence Jackson County Prosecutor's Office had to determine whether to file charges in Santee's subsequent...
So dangerous. It looks like she's got her finger on the trigger the whole time. Let's see.
Pieces of evidence Jackson County Prosecutor...
It's hard to tell because she's shaking it around. It's kind of blurry.
Shouting with a gun.
She's pointing it down.
It's likely one of the key
Kind of looks like her fingers
pieces
curled
of evidence
onto the
Jackson County
trigger.
prosecutor's office had to determine whether to file charges in Santee's subsequent shooting death. We showed the video to a practicing attorney of 40 years in self-defense who wrote Missouri's book on it.
Technically, it's called the defense of justification. And your justification is you are saving the life of another person.
Some say Santee died a hero, jumping to the defense of a female clerk facing verbal abuse from Taylor. Jameson says in most cases it would be important to know who started the fight, but it may not be necessary in this one.
The girlfriend is only constrained by what she reasonably believes.
Look at that chokehold. This guy's in a bad way right here. He's not in a good position. Not the position you want to be in. And he looks like he's he's got very little muscle tone in his arms. His legs look skinny. This guy looks way bigger than this guy. So I can see why the girlfriend would be a little bit concerned that her husband/boyfriend might not make it through this ordeal.
She reasonably believed to be the circumstances. And if she didn't see the start of the fight, as far as she knows, all she knows is her boyfriend is getting strangled.
At a forum on crime tonight, Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker addressed concerns she says she hears frequently that she returns too many yellow sheets or notices she's declined to file charges.
An officer will be upset because maybe won't understand why that case was declined.
But says data shows she files charges at the same rate as Platte and Clay counties.
But if a case is declined, it's just declined because we don't believe there's sufficient evidence to get to that highest burden of proof.
Peters Baker, who declined an interview after that forum tonight, said through a statement earlier today she grieves with the family and community over the tragic loss of life, but after careful review, had to consider Missouri law.
I'm in a peculiar situation as a defense attorney, agreeing with the Jackson County prosecutor.
I don't know. What do you guys think? If you were there, would you have tried to de-escalate? Would you have even gotten involved at all? What would you do if you were a third party and you were just like rolling up, just trying to get gas or going to pay for gas or wanting to get some snacks out of the convenience store? Would you have gotten involved in it? Would you have I'm going to take my business elsewhere? Let me know what you guys think.